Texans are not interested in DeAndre Hopkins, and despite the internet rumblings, DeAndre Hopkins not interested in the Houston Texans. That's what John McClain told me on In the Loop on Sports Radio 610 on the Odyssey app, which is where you can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central. You can find me in the locker room right here, number one source for Texans daily digital content. McClain hopped on the show. Take it for what it's worth. There's been times where McClain has been wrong. Sometimes it's opinions. It's not necessarily reports. Sometimes you can read between the lines. I've gotten to where I can kind of speak McClain, and I know when he's getting information and putting it out there, and I can separate when he has opinions. He said Deshaun Watson wasn't going to get traded. I don't think the Texans initially wanted to trade Deshaun Watson. That situation just kind of changed in many ways. He said Lovie Smith wasn't going to be one and done. Again, kind of changed. So some of you that might want DeAndre Hopkins, you might be saying, hell yeah, John McClain said it, then it means it's going to happen. I'm going to go buy my DeAndre Hopkins jersey. Different strokes for different folks. Here's what McClain said when he joined the show. When I asked him about the reported, I don't even want to say reported, the alleged interest, that DeAndre Hopkins has for the Texans and the lack of interest the Texans may have in him. Here's the general.
Stroud. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't, he just fell in love with him overnight. So his agent's doing what an agent should do, trying to drum up support to get somebody else to give him more, an offer closer to what they're looking for. They have not met with him. They have no interest in him, and he has no interest in coming here.
So you don't think he has interest either?
Absolutely not. He just listed 4 teams he wanted to go to and 4 quarterbacks. They're all Super Bowl contenders, great players, but none have the kind of money he wants. And so right after he finally hires an agent, then stories start to leak about how much he likes the Texans and Stroud. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't, he just fell in love with him overnight. So his agent's doing what an agent should do, trying to drum up support to get somebody else to give him more, an offer closer to what they're looking for.
All right, so there's some speculation about the agent and the leaks, and I agree with the leaks. I think the leaks are out there for a reason. There's a lack of interest. You want to drum up interest. Houston loves you, so you kind of create some sort of noise and some sort of love there. So I understand that. The Texans' point of view, I would put a little bit more stock in McClain saying that than you may be willing to want to if you are someone who is hoping for DeAndre Hopkins. Here's John McClain, the follow-up. Why aren't the Texans interested? What are they not interested in? Do they think he's declining?
They don't want 2 31-year-old starting receivers, and they love everything about Robert Woods. Last time Hop had a good year, same year Woods had 90 catches, 1,236 yards, same number of touchdowns as Hop. He's 1 year removed from that knee surgery.
Okay, so Robert Woods, 2 31-year-old receivers. I don't think that should necessarily prevent you from bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, but I've made it clear. I don't think it makes sense for the Texans to bring in Nuke Hopkins. I don't think the payoff is as high as many people think it is. Could he be the best receiver on the team? Sure. But a year from now, where are you going to be? Is DeAndre Hopkins really going to put you over the top? Are you going to be a better team with DeAndre Hopkins than you would be spreading guys out and maybe developing other guys? We saw it with Patrick Mahomes, much higher level, much different situation. You lose Tyreek Hill, you spread the ball out, you end up being the MVP. You're already one of the best players in the league, but it's not like you completely fell off. If you're looking at a young quarterback trying to develop chemistry with young guys, do you really want a 1-year DeAndre Hopkins rental? I don't think the Texans are a stupid organization. I don't think they're going to money whip DeAndre Hopkins. Why would you do that? The league is telling you DeAndre Hopkins is no longer an elite receiver. If DeAndre Hopkins were an elite receiver, he would not be on the market right now. I don't care about timing. If teams thought they could go get the DeAndre Hopkins that we got used to in Houston, that we saw a few years ago, he would not be on the market. He wouldn't have been on the market long. Hell, someone would have traded for him. I think he is declining. That is my opinion. I think he is declining. We saw it with Julio Jones. Julio Jones has had 3 rough years the last few years. He turned 31 3 years ago before these 3 years. Sometimes it just happens. Father time kind of catches up. DeAndre Hopkins can find a better situation. I just don't think this is it. Do I think Tank Dell, Nico Collins, John Mechie, Amari Rodgers, all these receivers, do I think they're going to end up being as good as DeAndre Hopkins? No. Did I think he's better than them right now? Probably so. But do I think that it's a wide enough gap to where you bring in DeAndre Hopkins for a year and you risk maybe the development of these guys? No, I don't. So I would not bring in DeAndre Hopkins, because the question you always ask yourself when you make a move is, what is the short term and what is the long term payoff? Short term, you're getting a declining player who doesn't practice, who the league doesn't seem to think as highly of as they once did, and who really wasn't down with this situation until recently, until he started putting that out there. McClain insists that he's not interested. I don't know whether he is or isn't. I just know that something changed. So no go for me with DeAndre Hopkins. What say you? Subscribe, like, comment right along. John McClain says it's not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. If it does, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think it would be a situation where the market is so scarce that you're maybe getting him on the real cheap. But if you're getting him on the real cheap, a guy who's used to getting that bread and being feeling like he's at an elite level, you got to wonder if that is going to work out and there's going to be a happy ending on that. Subscribe, like, right along. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Whether Nuke comes or not, whether John McClain's wrong or right, when it comes to this Texans game, in the locker room and wherever the hell else I am, we're all in this together. Have a good one.
Angles what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital.